Warning, the following podcast may contain strong language.
Hello and welcome to today's podcast with me, Luke Fletcher, and joining me on the panel, Matthew Wright and Alexander Roberts. Today's podcast is going to be on gaming, so do we want to start with consoles?
What consoles we have?
Yeah, perfect.
So I probably started off with the N64. I was pretty late. Compared to Matt. And then I was actually a Nintendo fanboy, so I would do like GameCube, PlayStation for about played 2 games. Then Xbox 360, Xbox One, PS4, Wii U, Wii. So most of the modern ones, and then PC gaming now, PC Master Race, and a lot of handheld.
What, you want me to go through the consoles out loud?
Mm-hmm. Unless obviously there's something he hasn't mentioned.
Alright, so I've grown up with and played the Atari, the Master System, Mega Drive, Sega Saturn, Dreamcast, Super Nintendo, obviously the N64, like the modern consoles. So, yeah.
It's a bit more old school.
What about the types of games that you played? Maybe genre or a specific game in general?
If I'm honest, I like a bit of everything. From games that I still enjoy are games like from my childhood, like Worms and like Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Comical games. But my biggest thing is, as much as I still like horror and stuff like that, the games that draw me in are multiplayer games. Maybe because I'm older, but some of my fondest memories are like playing N64.
Local multiplayer, not online.
Yeah, local multiplayer. Like, obviously, my generation a couple of years ago, I had like my friends playing like Call of Duty and stuff. Don't get me wrong, I've played online with those games, but it's not the same feeling as playing like Mario Kart with 3 mates next to you. That's where my gaming passion is.
Yeah, agree. Like Mario Kart back in the day, Super Smash Bros. All the N64 is happy memories just because of that, mate. Like GoldenEye, like so many games where it's just like local and it's just chaotic and it's more fun.
You'd probably suggest that the Xbox and the PlayStation are the two main gaming rivals, but you both have mentioned Nintendo, which doesn't really get much of a look in when it comes to...
It's a different format of game. It's just because like those two are both graphically more dominating, while the Nintendo nowadays goes for difference in gameplay. They go for the more direct to the younger audience and more like concepts and different concepts, like the most recent one being you can take your gaming experience anywhere you want.
So you're talking about how the Nintendo has now become portable. Have you played the Switch?
5 minutes.
Unfortunately not. It looks absolutely fantastic. But I think Nintendo is sort of like, I don't know, Nintendo is like the childhood in everybody. Do you know what I mean? The games that they make are for any age, but for kids as well, if that makes sense. They span, I know every console does that, but when you're making a console like Nintendo that are bringing out games that resonate with fans of Nintendo from 20 years earlier, like the new Legend of Zelda, you're always going to grip the older and the younger audience.
Because you've grown up with it, kind of. Yeah.
Like, I remember playing Legend of Zelda when it came out for N64. That's how old I am, sort of thing.
I'll agree in time.
Well, the Nintendo Switch, within its first month, it sold 2.7 million units.
Yeah.
That doesn't shock me, to be honest.
I think the weird thing with Nintendo is it will always do well early on, but then it will hit a point because the problem Nintendo do absolutely every single time don't release enough games early on. And this is the problem we have now. I bet if you look at the things, it's slowed down now because there's no games. There's Zelda, there's a couple of others.
I will admit that's the only reason why I didn't buy it on release or anything like that, because there was only Breath of the Wild that I was really interested in. There's some games coming out for it. There's the Mario game that looked quite interesting. It looked like a free world kind of RPG kind of thing when it was given a game trailer. Splatoon looks fun.
Yeah.
Mario Kart's been released within the past couple of weeks.
Is that a remake of 8?
I think
No, I thought this was the one that had multiple aspects from previous games. Because obviously, I know
think this is a rehash of 8 now, and they've got all the DLC they had in it, and they put it into one game.
No, but I thought it was the last one that introduced where you turn into like a plane and a submarine and stuff.
I believe
for the different
so, yeah.
aspects. Mm-hmm. I thought they'd done that. And I thought when I was looking at it, they were incorporating maps from older games, but then they're also bringing out new material as well.
It does show that, regardless, that they are building the Switch up. And of course, it is.
They are,
but
they also put themselves under a lot of unnecessary pressure. Because, it could be a masterstroke to have it where the main game is the release title. So, obviously, a lot of people will be buying Zelda, but that's a risky business when, as we've previously said, all three of us haven't bought it because that's a lot of money for one game. And when you're an adult as well, it's different if you're a child because your free time is your free time. As an adult, you have more responsibilities. You can't just sit there playing on it. And they've actually battled that somewhat with the fact that it's a portable. Do you know what I mean? You can play it like handheld. The fact that, which is daft as it sounds, blows my mind. The fact that both sides can be two different pads.
Yeah,
I think that's amazing.
Yeah, I think I love the concept. Like, don't get me wrong. And the same happened for the Wii U. I thought there was a lot of problems they did with it, but I thought the core concept was pretty decent. But they didn't take advantage of it. They never got a game that really was like, we're going to change this up quite a bit.
One thing I would say, one of the things I love about Nintendo is they're risk takers. If you look through their history, like arguably, in my opinion, the greatest controller ever made is the N64. But if you look at that controller, to then you look at the GameCube controller, to look at the Wii, and I know obviously you can still use obviously the GameCube pad with the Wii and stuff, but they constantly take risks, and I like that about them. It's just sometimes, obviously, with any risk, it doesn't always work out.
It's just simply the fact there's not enough games to support their content.
So how long do you think it will be before a console that is like the Nintendo Switch becomes the main priority of someone like PlayStation or Xbox?
I don't think they will, because they're in competition with each other, but not in competition with each other, because whereas sort of Nintendo are now making more money off handheld consoles rather than a big console, you arguably have Nintendo with their handheld, and then you have sort of Xbox. Even Xbox is kind of like half between a console and a PC gamer, isn't it? Because obviously, and then obviously you've got PlayStation, and then you've still got, with both of them two, the VR aspect, which is obviously going to only build more and more up. So as much as they are in competition with each other, Nintendo's games are exclusive to Nintendo, and Xbox and PlayStation games are they're more, I see them more as companions to each other.
Well, it's like you were saying, but I think that's where Nintendo, with their core concept of their consoles, they have to be like that. They can't adapt a COD game from 360 down to there because it won't be the same. Graphically, it'll be less, but I don't think enough developers actually support their concept of their consoles. They don't have time, so they just transfer it over and that's it.
I think that's why.
But when you dedicate a game to that console, you have to play to its strengths. So they'll push for those little things, and that's where those games that support that are the best games.
Well, it's quite clever because obviously N64 was a massive competitor for consoles at the time, but now it seems like Nintendo have proper gone with their roots of being like the kiddie-friendly, cute console, where obviously their main sellers are their own titles. They don't use other companies. Do you know what I mean? So obviously Mario will never die as long as Nintendo is still alive. People obviously like Legend of Zelda will never die as long as that. So they have their own core games that keep them going. So do you know what I mean?
You mentioned VR. That's obviously the new trend that really kind of kicked off, I'd say, within the past couple of years, but it hasn't exactly taken off as of yet. Maybe it's because of pricing, or maybe it's because the equipment isn't accessible for people to purchase.
As another praise for Nintendo arguably did the VR first with the Wii.
Oh, really? I was going to go with back in the day. Who was the one?
They did the VR thing.
What's a Virtual Boy?
Yeah,
Virtual Boy.
But I'm thinking, do you know, the whole system, like the flaws of the VR are the same flaws with the Nintendo Wii.
Yeah.
When people used to, I know obviously not going to have the injuries, but you know the whole thing about you need space to do it. But I still think that's praise to Nintendo. They started that whole thing about being more interactive.
Just going back to what I said about asking about if Xbox or PlayStation were going to copy off Nintendo with a similar sort of console concept idea. You brought up the Nintendo Wii there. Xbox after the Wii, the Kinect came out for Xbox and the PlayStation Move, which I didn't have the PlayStation Move. I had the Kinect, but from the Move, it was kind of confusing with the whole kind of like wand kind of thing that you had to.
Oh, was that the one with the white ball?
Yeah, ball.
I never used them, but as I've said, that's still. It's where companies, obviously through the ages, have tried to take the success of one aspect of another. So you take it. Obviously, mainstream consoles are trying to use the whole hands-free system, which doesn't really play to their strengths, because obviously as much VR will suit games like COD, but you were never going to play sort of COD with like the wand, or you'd never play it with the nunchucks of the Nintendo. So they're playing to their own strengths, but they're trying out what each other has and seeing what works for them. And to be honest, I think it's just good that some of them just kind of like let something die and decide, yeah, this isn't working for us, especially when if they carried on with the wand, people would still play Nintendo more with that sort of style.
And from what I recall as well, the Kinect was red hot. It was when it was on release, it was red hot, and then it just sort of died down. I think again, like we said, there was a lack of games.
Yeah, it's not even that. I think it was just a nuisance more than anything. I find I just never used it. Like just there was never a real purpose. Everything you could do with the Kinect, you could do with a controller that's already in your hand.
Besides, you did need a lot of space for them kind of
things.
And
it was more annoyance than actual convenience. You know? And you're going back to the VR and stuff. To be honest, I had a VR. It was my brother's, but I had to go at it and stuff like that. And like you said, the biggest problems with it, overpriced. The cabling system is terrible. You have to be wireless. Like it's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. The amount of cables there is for it is ridiculous, and you can't move. And then the other one you need is a big amount of space.
And
big. I smashed it out because I didn't know where I was. Because when you put it on, after about 20 minutes, you lose you don't know where you are in your own room.
Perception.
Your perception in your own room, you don't have a clue. So you do not know where you're facing, and you don't know where you're walking. And I think you need an unrealistic amount of space for a home. So it's not home accessible.
But it is the beginning of...
Plus, I also think Batman has no arms, which is just shocking. I hate that.
But I think, like I say, I think it got rushed out. I think when you had the Oculus Rift coming out, the companies were panicking. They rushed it because Oculus Rift was coming through, and they got scared. So they all had to go and make their own. And I think it's rushed out, it's overpriced, it's overcomplicated. But I think it's one of those ones that suss out. It could really enhance the experience rather than take you away from it a little bit.
Hold on,
well, there are several versions of the VR. There's Google have got theirs, Samsung got theirs, Oculus, like you mentioned, PlayStation have got theirs.
Yeah.
Google's the most popular in 2016 in terms of selling, 88.4 million. Which we say like it hasn't taken off massively, but when you read that kind of that statistic, it kind of makes it look bigger than it actually is. But you've got to imagine that then people are probably going to have to be rich and probably got...
How much does Google want? Is it cheap? Is that why it's sold so much?
Pricing, well, it wasn't 100% sure on the pricing, but compared to the Oculus only sold 355,000. So
yeah. They got the Oculus and then they got the PlayStation one.
Yeah, PlayStation was almost double that. So.
Right.
Yeah, but do you not think, as much as VR, the concept of VR will take off, I think it's still going to be similar to sort of the Nintendo, where it's still going to be a niche thing, because VR is not going to work for every single game.
It strains your eyes as well. Like,
it's going to.
So the thing is, it's not going to be, you can play a 10-hour session on it.
No, but
you're going to have breaks.
I know, but do you know how it'll work like a horror scenario, stuff like that, but I just think of some games that you like, and I'm thinking like, would they really improve that game? I don't think they would.
Depends, any first-person game, done.
Yeah, first person.
That's what I mean.
But I don't think that's going to completely take over every single game.
it wouldn't work for 2D games.
Because I'm thinking like,
yeah,
you play a game and you're loving like the realism or like the fact that, like I look at some games and I'm thinking like the new Days Gone game that's coming out, that zombie game. And I know how silly it sounds, but I'm thinking like when like you see him moving and you see like he's got like a handkerchief, like a bandana in his back pocket, and you see it moving and stuff, and I'm like, wow, that's fantastic. You look at like the games like Last of Us and just some of the little details. They, as much as you'll get those, you'll also lose some because you can't see a character and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know, but
I don't think it's going to suit every game.
No,
though. Not every game.
But
I
think there's a vast majority it will suit, like racing games. That's pretty.
Yeah, but
actually being in like the cockpit kind of thing.
Racing games.
Yeah, but then surely you can just still bring out normal games, but then bring out VR games as well.
Well, they can intertwine. You don't have to play VR for every game.
I know.
Choose which games you prefer.
It would definitely have to be a sort of
a choice.
Would it be suitable?
And
if not,
well, one thing for an example is VR. No matter when it comes out, is still going to be very niche because not everybody is going to have that sort of space to use it in.
That's it.
Like
unless it's head-only movement, that's what I'm thinking. But games like that, head-only movement.
But it can't be, because it has to register your feet moving and stuff, doesn't it?
No, because you can still play the controller, move the controller, and then you just look in each angle.
Yeah, but you can pretty much do that now anyway. When like you see, obviously not to the VR standard, but when you've got people who have like, for the racing games, they have like the racing chair and the steering wheel, or you play like COD and stuff, and people have got like those noise-cancelling headphones and stuff where all they can hear is the game and stuff. I'm like, surely that's the equivalent of it. If it's just your head, then it's not really doing the VR job anyway.
I think it's doing it pretty well. Because you got to think though, like I said,
no,
it's all about visual, though, isn't it? Like, the point of VR is visual.
Yeah, but if VR were going to do that, then they would have already made it where you didn't have to walk around. They would have already made it where you could stay sat down and still do it.
You can for some parts.
I know, but the whole point is it's that you're in that game.
Oh yeah.
So your movements, you reload and stuff.
But I'm not going to run. If I'm playing GTA, I'm not going to run a mile down my street just when I'm playing.
No,
VR.
Of course not. I know, but you're going to move your feet.
It's not that accurate. It's like
I know, but you're going to move your feet as if you're running.
Yeah.
So obviously, but as soon as you lose depth perception, you're going to need a whole room just for that console to get the full. To get the full experience of VR.
You already smashed the lamp.
Yeah.
To get like the full, to get everything
you have to have
from
someone
it.
with you to stop you from.
I mean, it's not as big of a thing, but when the Nintendo Wii first came out, people were smashing TVs because they were just letting go of the remote.
Yeah, and you weren't strapping it out.
Yeah,
I don't think they had a strap at the time.
No,
so that's
they didn't.
why.
No,
not straight away. It was just two things in a while.
Yeah, they didn't. I don't think they had it, which is why people's TVs were getting
smashed.
smashed.
But you got to think though. Think how much space you need for the Nintendo Wii, and that's just your arms that move.
Yeah.
And your feet if you're standing up, but you don't have to.
But
once you lose depth perception, and you're obviously the whole point is that
you've
you're
got headphones, you can't hear
game,
anything over what's in there, and you can't see anything.
I don't see how they're going to battle that with space.
You've seen the machines now you can run on. As well. If they try and bring that out, that's going to cost like $10,000.
Yeah, but realistically, that again, you're going to need a room dedicated to that. You're not going to keep getting that out, like putting that away every time you want to go on the game. Oh, I just want to have 10 minutes on Call of Duty. Well, I've got it all out now. Might as well put it all back. 10 minutes is gone. Do you know what I mean? Though I think that it's good. I think people, in my opinion, people seem to think it's like 5-10 years off. I think we're more like 30 years off.
Yeah.
To get it where you can.
The first thing is make it wireless.
No, I mean, but to have it so that
and you have to make a choice.
Every man can play it is a long way off. Because as you said, eventually you're going to have to nail it down so that it's just your head movements and a controller.
Definitely. Yeah.
If you're doing it, but people want it to be that they're physically punching.
But I think that
should
be a choice. That could be an option. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying. They have to optionise it.
But
so your standard, like sometimes you don't have to play VR. Sometimes you can play VR. Then you can limit it. Like you said, head movement only. So you can play with the controller. Yeah, but you could still.
The problem is they'll do that backwards, won't they? They'll make it so that you have to walk and stuff, and then they'll give you the option that you can play it. So instead of going full VR, you'll have say semi VR. So it's just head movement or something. Don't laugh at this. No, but you know what I mean. I just don't think realistically we're anywhere near the capabilities because they want it to be at the moment that every part of your body is in game and that's what moves it. But realistically, you need a massive space to do that. And even then, even if your room is a mile long either side, there are still borders to that room. You can still eventually go into that because think how long people play games for. Some people play games like 9-8 hours straight. You ain't going to be able to do that on a VR. Think how much strain that's going to put you under to play a VR game.
Oh, no,
And you've got to think, do you know, like, I don't know if any of you are like it, but I've played multiple games, and after a while, like high intensity, say Call of Duty, after a few hours, you're physically knackered because you've got to be aware of everything, and you're trying to like be like, you're playing it. When you play a game super seriously, you get mentally tired once you've finished. So imagine playing a VR like that where you're physically and mentally tired. Do you know what I mean? I'm thinking like when I used to play Time Cop, do you know, at the arcades, and I'm shooting and stuff, and after I've finished that, I'm like, oh fucking hell, man, I was killing it. It proper knackers you out. Like, because that might just be I'm not fit. But.
Yeah, it's probably that one.
Hold on, do you feel 100% okay after
I
you've played?
feel beautiful.
You chat shit.
We mentioned about the VR, how it's sold on different standpoints. Going back to consoles, the PS4 and Xbox One in 2013 they came into existence. The new generation of console. PS4 sold 60 million, whereas the Xbox One sold over 10 million.
That's bollocks. Xbox is shit.
But why was there such a massive difference, do you think?
Well, didn't Xbox One come out just before it?
Yeah, it did.
Yes.
I thought it did.
It did.
Plus, in my opinion, Xbox, I'm sure, came out with better release titles, didn't it? The main title I remember is from
Had Rise, I remember that one.
PS4. That's main selling point was Uncharted.
Yeah.
Uncharted 4.
It did seem like Xbox were mainly focused on apps and stuff. They were mainly focused on like, oh, you could Skype whilst gaming, or you can watch YouTube whilst gaming. Whilst PS4 were like, here's this game and this game and this game and this game, and it basically just made everyone go crazy on one.
I think it's the thing that annoys me about PS4, even though obviously I'm a massive PlayStation like PS4 fan, is that I wish that they'd brought out multiple games that were sequels to previous games, rather than having to wait 2 years into the lifespan of PS4 before they're starting to do it.
Yeah.
Like Last of Us 2 and stuff like that. I know that's obvious. This year and next year, PS4 are going to do phenomenal. Some of their games that are coming out, The Last of Us for a start is going to do absolutely fantastic. Bear in mind that's PlayStation exclusive. Red Dead Redemption, and that's coming out for both. So in my opinion, the exclusive for PlayStation are a hell of a lot more exciting.
The unfortunate thing is they've both been delayed. But like you said, within the next year or so.
That's what I mean though, but when they come out, the exclusives are going to blow them away. Last of Us 2 is going to do absolutely phenomenal. Another one, Death Stranding, an exclusive for PS4. Do you know how many people are excited about that as a Hideo Kojima fan, like a Metal Gear Solid fans? Metal Gear Solid was an exclusive to PlayStation.
Personally, for me as well, remastering of Crash Bandicoot.
And you got the sequel to
The Last Guardian.
Last Guardian, yeah.
And then obviously, what's the other? God of War. God of War, the new God of War.
So you're basing the difference of selling points on exclusive games.
Yeah, I really do
because there only seems to be really. I mean, I'm probably just guessing this, but like Halo was obviously the major back when like the Xbox was just the Xbox.
Oh, yeah, when
it was
when
mainly
Xbox
just Halo.
But now I think that's swung in the other way, because when Xbox first came out, that had all of the exclusive, and PS2 took a long time to accumulate its own. Because obviously you've got to think, when obviously Uncharted came out, that was kind of towards the end of the lifespan of PS2. Do you know what I mean? So obviously you're having it where their exclusive took a long time for them to gain traction, but now I think it's the other way around. And I remember speaking to a few of my friends about it, where a lot of the games, because obviously the last console I owned was a PS3 before the new gen, and obviously a lot of the games I really wanted to play were only coming out for PS4, and that's what made me ultimately decide I would much rather have a PS4, because the other games I wanted to play were coming out for both. So why would I pick the Xbox and not be able, like I played and completed Uncharted 1 to 3. I want to play number 4, but it's only coming out for PS4. I played Last of Us 2 is only coming out. Do you get what I mean?
Money making. because they also did a sneaky thing, which was at the time sneaky. At the time that the new generation of consoles came out, one game in particular came out a couple of weeks before they did, and it was a massive game, GTA 5. GTA 5 came out, it's still selling massively, even like several years on from
its
release. That came out, still selling well, and it was originally released on Xbox 360, of course, because at that time when it came out, the new generation hadn't been released, and then a couple of months later, or a couple of weeks, new generation came out, and everyone went out, and there was no backwards compatibility, so you couldn't switch it from, couldn't put your 360 disc in the Xbox One. You had to actually go out, buy it again, and then play it on the Xbox One if you needed to play it on the new console.
Which is ridiculous, because later on in the years they put backwards compatibility into the console.
Exactly.
But GTA are notorious for stuff like that. I remember when I was younger and PlayStation 1 came out, GTA, can you remember GTA 1? And then they brought out GTA London, but to play GTA London you needed to put the GTA London disc into the PlayStation, remove it and put in GTA 1, and then remove that and put GTA London back in just to play London.
And I believe it had so much data on them discs that you had to basically wait there for ages whilst it downloaded more before you could even play the damn thing.
Yeah.
That's the current era of downloading. Like you play a game, put a disc in, and you wait. It's about 30 gigabytes.
You're basically paying games now cost like 50 quid or something. You're basically paying 50 quid to wait there for several hours whilst half the game downloads.
Like every game now.
Which I guess is a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing because back in the day you'd play a game and to complete a campaign, like one that springs to mind for me is Halo 4, where you can complete that in 6 hours, the campaign, but then you play something like Assassin's Creed and that's 40 hours.
Witcher 3.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? You're now getting games where you're racking up hundreds of hours just to get everything.
Because The Witcher 3, obviously, there's a lot more to discover.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not an achievement guy, I don't go for achievements, but when you've got, I don't know, say 90 hours into the main campaign and then another 50 for side missions and stuff, you're getting more for your money. Don't get me wrong,
well built, like GTA 5, the reason it does so well is because the world is so well done. Like, it's not about how big it is, but it's how detailed it is.
But I also think one of the biggest selling points, which is obviously more occurring in games, is the variety of gameplay. Every time you play that game, you can play it in a different way.
Yeah.
And they're the games that people repetitively play. Don't get me wrong, some people repetitively play others, but when you have a game where every time you play you can do it differently. Look at when Fable 1 came out, and I remember I had 7 different saves on that game because you have different choices through the game, and it means that you're not just repetitively playing it.
Bethesda are good at doing that, like Skyrim, Elder Scrolls kind of thing, and Fallout as well. Not necessarily the Fallout 4, which came out a couple of years ago now.
Yeah.
I believe. Not so much that one because they sort of got rid of what made Fallout amazing and why I loved Fallout 3 New Vegas so much. But they got rid of the karma system pretty much. The karma system was you can't really do anything bad.
I think the problem is Fallout 3 was so good. People played it. You did play it. Played it for 100 hours solid. You knew everything in and out about that game. And you played 4 and you just felt like a rehash of 3.
Yeah,
and
because
you're like, I'm playing 3 again.
Yeah, it's because
that was the problem.
It's because
you can always change it up a little bit.
The majority of stuff in that is scripted. There was nothing that was really. You couldn't do anything really bad in the game. Like you start off the game and you have to go and help the Minutemen.
Yeah.
You can't then decide you don't want to join the Minutemen. You're forced to join them. Whereas in other games, you could have the choice. Yeah, you could have the choice to join them.
But it's Brotherhood Steel, right? So you didn't have to join them.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Spoilers.
Oh yeah, spoilers by the way.
It's been out for 2 years.
That's not that don't mean anything.
Really?
Yeah,
so how long would you say is the appropriate amount of time before you can start spoiling?
Never. Spoilers are never okay.
Alright then, so Jaws, which came out years and years ago, you saying we can't
How can you spoil Jaws now?
The sharks eat people. Sorry.
Yeah, but that's in like the title. But you got to think, as an example,
That was meant to be pirate.
Tony still hasn't played or finished The Last of Us,
Yeah, don't ruin that.
and that's a massive, massive title.
To be fair, I haven't because I'm a PlayStation, but
This interview's over.
I have Xbox. I'm sorry. I got an Xbox One because I had a 360. Okay, that was my reasoning for
That's not good
buying.
enough, mate. So what games do you like playing? Just Halo? Is that what you can really play?
No.
You don't play Halo? So why do you own an Xbox?
I played a bit of Halo.
So what games do you play?
On Xbox.
Recently, just FIFA, Fallout. I played Battlefront for a bit.
Oh, nice.
But Battlefront seemed, to me anyway, like Battlefield with a Star Wars
Oh,
skin.
yeah.
Although-
It was just not the content of that.
Although the new Battlefront seems to be going back to how it used to be on PlayStation 2.
Oh,
So, fingers crossed they don't screw that up.
You still play all of that on PlayStation 4.
Well, yeah. But like we mentioned, like Xbox.
Plus monumental games.
But like we said, Xbox exclusive games are
like 20 years old now.
not as
No, they're shy.
seemingly interesting.
No, they're just yeah. Besides Halo, they haven't really got anything.
Actually, did they have anything? What do you know?
You are?
What are the exclusives?
Mate, the crap. Honestly, I looked them up when I bought a PS4. No, continue.
You may continue.
Top 5 games, top 5 most selling games of all time. There's Super Mario Bros. There's GTA 5, of course, which is, like we said, still ongoing. Wii Sports, because obviously that came out.
Are they in order?
From 5 to going on. Wii Sports, because obviously that came with Nintendo.
I don't understand the sales
Wii,
report on that because it came with the console.
Yeah. Minecraft and surprisingly Tetris, because they keep on evolving Tetris to make it slightly different.
Mate, it's the same game every time.
I'm good that Mario is 5th though.
I thought it would have been a bit higher.
I would have preferred it over Minecraft.
Minecraft's 6th,
But Minecraft is on a hell of a lot more platforms though.
Oh yeah, of course. Plus kids love it, don't they?
Mate, I was at OG. I played it when it was like
You're OG at building blocks.
Yeah. OG.
That's what kids do at doctors.
It's not hating, man.
No. My issue is why people put so many hours into
I
Minecraft.
put that.
It's like after you've mined a few rocks and built a house, what the fuck do you do?
Just keep mining. You can play survival and stuff like this. You can, like I say, you build what you want. You go scavenging and stuff like that, and you build your little like.
We talk about
It's like an imagination. If you have a good imagination in the game, you like it. Don't do the sarcastic thumbs up.
We talk about Minecraft in space, No Man's Sky. Have we played that?
What, No Man's Sky?
Yeah, how good was that, Tony?
I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, for the first 10 minutes.
The first hour was pretty good.
It's just that's what we were on about earlier though, it's repetitive games. But if there's nothing more you can do on it.
Wasn't really just the repetitive games, it was more the fact that Sean Murray, the guy who he's like the manager or some, not manager, he runs the Hello Games. The amount of lies that he told in the build-up to the game, which made it sound much more interesting and much more cool than it actually was.
I think he had the core concept, right? I think people went off the bandwagon because of hate they had for the game. Like, I think he had the concept there, but he didn't have the full potential of it. He might have been a rush job because he was getting pressured from Sony to bring it out.
Yeah, but then just play something better like Sims.
I know, but like I say, I've like Matt said, it becomes repetitive. You do the same thing every single time. The thing he did lie about was, which I was pissed off at, you could play it online, you could meet other players, and then in the first day, a streamer discovered another player that he was there, and when it came to encountering them, he could see the tag, but he couldn't see the player himself, so they couldn't actually ever meet.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a really sad story, man.
Yeah. I'd still rather play The Sims.
It was still a very notorious story because it was obviously just the beginning of
I think the main problem was people thought it was a massive multiplayer online. he said to him, the chances of you meeting the player is limited because of the amount of planets there are in the system.
Which is weird, because wasn't No Man's Sky, isn't it like a PC game? Which is weird, because obviously PC games are notorious for that. Have you ever played a game called Spores?
Well, the thing is, it's possible.
Stuff
but
like that.
They never established a system where the one player, you want your mates, you want to play with your mates, you get these ships, you want to do it, it'd be great. Yeah, that's like the concept for it was great.
Yeah, but
the potential for it was great.
Yeah, but what I mean is, like, you look at other games like Spores. On that, you create your creature, and you start off as like a tadpole, and you have to avoid bigger fish, and then you evolve.
I'm not sure on the release, but I think it did originally begin as an Xbox and PlayStation game, and then obviously it went to Steam. But obviously on Steam, they introduced a refund system, which I thought was great for consumers because they can pre-order stuff now and can actually refund it if they don't like the game.
But I thought, what was the game that Steam recently stopped people from refunding? I thought they had a game that
I think it's happened. Yeah.
I thought it was No Man's Sky, but it might not be.
It might have been because they
thought there was another game where they just stopped people getting refunds.
I think they did because they just had so many requests for it that they just had to just stop it because they were losing so much money.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just incredible the way that game was just so heavily hyped and then just failed so dramatically.
Because everyone loved the concept of it, and it took years. Like I can remember when I first discovered it myself. It was like 2 years prior they released it, and I followed it, and I was like, yeah, the concept's beautiful. Like it's stunning. What they're working on and what we're getting at. You think, yeah, it's pretty good. And you think, yeah, and everyone, like I said, I did as well. I talked about it all the time. I thought it was going to be wicked.
That's the thing. Like, we'll talk about E3. It was loads of trailers at E3. Everything looks great, and then you see it like in the flesh, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's nothing like what it was shown.
Well, they're going to show you the best bits, aren't they? It's like a trailer,
but it wasn't even
a film trailer. They're going to show you the best bits.
It wasn't. Does the best bits count if it isn't even in the game?
I don't even know, because a lot of the time they'll show you like a short bit of in-game footage, like consecutively, like 1 10-minute scene, and then a lot of the time it's normally like the opening intro to a game, isn't it? That like they show you, like if you look at a lot of like the Assassin's Creed games at the E3s and stuff, they just showed them the opening like sort of trailer for it.
What is it they showed in the trailers that wasn't in the game?
There was just, it was like a load of little things. It was like there was something you could like land on asteroids and stuff. That didn't happen. There was like little details on various
There was one
planets.
I thought there was a like space battle thing that was going on.
Yes, I remember there was it was again about choices, and like you could see a space battle and you can choose one side or the other.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen. It doesn't happen within the game.
Yeah.
So there were just little things like that just continuously occurred. And talk about E3, it's a week away as we're recording this. Anyone looking forward to anything?
No, because they've only just recently announced that Death Stranding isn't going to make an appearance at E3.
Well, Xbox's new console might be a bit more details about it.
Last of Us 2 might have something at E3.
There's going to be definite...
Red Dead surely will have something more announced for it.
2K have also got something big planned.
Really?
Yeah, that's a good point. Days Gone. Since that was announced and that we saw that opening bit of footage, we've seen nothing from it. So this might be the perfect opportunity for that to be shown.
Possibly a new Borderlands as well. I don't know if you guys play Borderlands, but I certainly did. Oh,
that'll never happen.
We can only dream.
That'll never happen.
Only dream.
It's pretty much confirmed it's never happened.
Oh, of course. They never make free.
Yeah, because all the people who are involved with it have all gone left scene.
But then again, though, you don't need a number 3 though. You can just do like they did with the Orange Box and release episodes. Do you know when they release those 2 episodes?
No, that's what they were planning.
Because you can't end it. Have you played the episodes?
Not all of it.
The last 2 episodes, the way that ends is bullshit. If they don't do anything else with that.
Valve never released free of any kind of game. They haven't released a Left 4 Dead 3. They haven't released a Portal 3.
But
it's like number 3, basically.
But arguably, Evolve was basically Left 4 Dead 3, wasn't it? Arguably, it was the same formula. The character designs look very similar. The style of it was very similar to the additional modes that you can get in Left 4 Dead. like the survival style mode.
It's not the same company, is it?
It's Valve.
Really?
It's Valve.
Is it?
Evolve is made by Valve.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I fucking said it.
Fucking fun, right?
Yeah, it's made by Valve.
Oh right, shit, I didn't realise that. It seems a bit weird, but it seems like.
But as you said, they don't generally make frees.
No.
Which is a shame though, because obviously a lot of their older games are still highly sought after. Think how old Half-Life is now, and people
Released in '98, wasn't it?
And people are
Yeah, that was
still
the first one, but I
craving
think
it.
the last one was released in like 2004.
No, because the last one would have been the orange box, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but that was
Two
just
episodes.
there was the
But that-
remake.
yeah,
so
but that probably
all
would have been about
So, yeah,
2004.
So it was 2004.
People are
5.
still wanting more, and
12 years ago.
they just don't want to do it.
Did ever release Half-Life 3?
Mate, that
How much would it sell? Like how well would that sell?
do you know what I would love
It's
to see
ridiculous.
is for
It's like-
Half-Life 3 to come out at the time like a new GTA comes out, because
Yeah.
Half-Life 3 would still sell more.
Yeah, it's just like
It would.
you think it's strange from a company business. Like Mile Hack, like even it's turned into memes. Half-Life 3, you know, when it turns into everything, everyone wants it so badly, and you think a company wouldn't go, let's just give it them, get a fuck ton of money. And
Well, that's why I think
have a game.
not on the same scale, but Portal 2 has Portal has such a following, and Portal games are fantastic.
Same Team Fortress.
Left
same.
4 Dead. Left 4 Dead, when number 1 came out, took the world by storm.
Yeah.
Because it's such a simple concept.
See, the way to evolve Portal as well, past two have been like in some sort of laboratory kind of thing. Make it open world.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, you will have to adapt the open world so that obviously your laws of Portal can actually work within the game.
Yeah, but you can
But-
do that, because who's to say
Yeah.
that the real world in Portal is the same as our world?
You don't really
know
see
that.
the real world,
Because
do you?
the only glimpse you see is when, at number 1, when she reaches the surface for a split second before she passes out, and you just see a fence, don't you? You don't see what the real world is like. They could arguably put it in Half-Life's universe if they wanted to.
Yeah.
It's the same, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Media influence, reviews, critics, and most notably YouTube and Twitch.
Hate them all.
Thanks for that input.
It's true
Care to
though.
elaborate?
Well, if I read a game that's done badly, that doesn't sway my opinion on a game. If I think a game looks good,
Same for movie reviews and
I just
TV.
yeah, they don't sway my opinion. The only thing that sort of, I guess, half does it is when a friend or someone who you have similar opinions on says something is good or bad, but that still doesn't completely change my opinion. I wait to play, because the reason why is I've had it before when games have been panned and I've still enjoyed them myself.
Yeah.
Or I've had it where a game has done hugely successfully and I don't enjoy it, like Skyrim and stuff like that. I don't like the games, but they still do hugely successfully, but I just don't enjoy them.
Yeah.
So I just think listening to other people's opinions is just very narrow-minded, in my opinion.
I think when you look at reviewers, you have to look at reviewers that you think exactly the same thing. You can't pick a random one and go, yeah, I'll listen to him and he's right. You've got to find the guy who thinks in the same way you think about games, and then follow him and then see what he says about games. And if he likes it, then you probably think, I'll give it a go, see what it's like.
But you're not worried that could still be the same thing though, because me and you might agree on 20 films, but then disagree on 50 films.
Yeah,
even though we have very similar tastes in what we look for.
I don't even look at reviews. What I'd go for is I'll see a concept for game, somebody play it once on a YouTube video. Then I'll go to Twitch. Then I'll watch people randomly play it, see what they think, and then I'll get so engrossed in it, like PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, like sick, probably buy it. Like, because I've seen enough footage of it to go, that looks pretty cool. If I
Don't
play
get me
that, I
wrong,
love it.
I enjoy watching footage of a game just to see how it plays.
Yeah.
But that will be what sways me, not them saying, oh, I like or dislike this. It's if I think that looks good.
Yeah.
Because there's one thing sort of being told, like what the premise of a game is,
Yeah.
and you think that sounds interesting or not. But it's then when you get to see how it actually looks and the feel of the
That
game.
was going to be
that
my
you
kind of
decide.
next question of, away from reviews, would you just watch someone play the game on YouTube or Twitch?
Yeah,
just
because
to
like
then get your own opinion.
well, I've had it before.
regardless of whether you're playing it or not.
Well, before I owned a PS3, people have been raving about The Last of Us, and I was like, do you know what I mean? I need to see what this game's like. So I like to sometimes, for games that I don't own, but would like to look at, I'll watch like the YouTube movie of it, so when they just get the cutscenes and stuff. And I watched the Last of Us movie on YouTube, and I thought, oh, this game seems absolutely phenomenal. And then obviously I ended up getting a PS3 and played the game myself. So it can work in that regard, but sometimes I think hearing what the premise is, you need to just see a little bit more of it. So even if it's like just a snippet of gameplay, the same way that like if someone who's never played Red Dead before had watched the trailer for Red Dead 2, they might think, oh, that looks visually nice, but they're not bothered one way or the other because they don't know what the game's like. But people who have played number one don't even need to see a snippet of footage, they just need to see the title of Red Dead 2 and they're like, oh my god, I need to play this, because they know what it feels like from previous incarnations.
Even like, I'd say like, if my mindset on a game is so much like, no reviews would deter me from it.
Exactly.
And perfect example, and you love this, No Man's Sky. Like, it got shit reviews before it came out. It did. But my head was like, I've been hyping this up for 2 years.
Yeah, he was so excited for it.
I was like, no, I'm getting it. Regardless, I'm going to want to see what it's like. I like the core concept of the idea. I love the free roaming, going for planets, exploring. I love those kind of games. So I was like, no, I might like it a bit better than the other people who like it. So I went for it. It was still pretty shit, but they were totally right. But I still, like I say, I would ignore reviewers and like critics. Either way, I just think there's a general idea. Like, if a reviewer comes along and multiple reviews keep saying our game's really buggy, and it's a common theme throughout all the different reviews, I'll probably go, they're probably right, I'll leave it. Like, you know what I mean? Like bugs, you know what I mean? That's not biased, that's just there. Like, people know.
Gaming is growing on like social media. Like, people are like lived off just playing games or reviewing games. Like, for example, some YouTubers like Markiplier or Jacksepticeye. I don't know if you're.
I'm a fan of Markiplier.
Yeah, they basically made their entire YouTube career off of just playing games. Markiplier specifically made his from playing horror games.
Yeah, like Five Nights at Freddy, because I watched all of the games through him, sort of thing.
Yeah. Do you like that kind of idea? Do you think it's worthy to have?
I do, because similar to what Tony said, once you sort of watch it, it's kind of, in a way, but that's what I said, it's like watching their videos, it becomes like a rapport, and this may sound really sad, but it kind of feels like they're your friend, because you because you have similar opinions or similar likes and stuff, you're more than likely to not be swayed or agree, but you're more than likely to consider what they're saying. And I think, do you know what I mean, that's really interesting. Like, social media now, you've got obviously all of a sudden, like with Facebook and stuff, you've got people doing live streams of videos and stuff, so now people are starting to Facebook live stream gaming videos and stuff, aren't they?
But not only that, they have to be entertaining as well, because everyone is now trying to jump on the YouTube bandwagon.
But that's just not what it is, though, is it? It's not just about watching the game, it's about whether you like the person that's talking about it. So I find like Markiplier quite funny, and like, do you know what I mean, him getting scared and stuff, and obviously that just becomes you want to watch a reviewer or someone you like.
But do you think it might have become oversaturated? I mean, what if Markiplier had only just started his YouTube channel right now, kind of thing? Do you think he would get lost within the overwhelming sea?
I think it's one of those times it takes longer now to get noticed, because it will happen. So, like, say somebody's really good at one game, or like a popular game comes out and they're constantly there, they're on Twitch 24/7, but they're constantly there playing the game, and that's done. They're constantly playing the game, and then eventually, you know, they're good enough to play the game. Like some games I like a skilled player, so I'll watch a skilled player. So the player a known one, Battlegrounds. Well, I'll watch players who are really skilled because I like to see what they do. It's tactical, and then they're really good, but they're also entertaining. So I like that.
Well, yeah, because I was going to say, like,
balance both, really.
Because with like the whole Markiplier thing, I only originally actually found a video of his because I wanted to see Five Nights at Freddy, because I don't own a PC, and then it was through watching his video. And obviously, as you said, it's about them being skilled as well. So I really think he's funny. I find him funny. But then it's also the fact that he was not just completing the game, he was also doing like the expert mode, as it were, which is like 10-10 or whatever it's called, where everyone's at the highest sort of thing. And as you said, I find that fun, but you have to like the person but still enjoy what they're on about. Because, as I said, if they're playing a game I don't like, I won't watch a Markiplier video just for Markiplier. I'll watch it because it's a video or a game I actually want to watch.
Do you prefer live streams on Twitch or YouTube, or do you just prefer a set?
time.
What, the edited
video?
Edited videos. Depends on the game.
Yeah, it really does, because obviously, like, I guess you have the comedy value from a live stream, because if, say, for example, someone's doing a live stream of a horror game, you're getting the real-time reaction to something. But obviously, sometimes with editing, you don't...
It just gets you the best bits.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, if you want to see a game for how good it actually is, the good and the bad of it, you won't see that with an edited video. You'll just see their highlight reel, as it were. So you won't see the real things that can...
How shit they are.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean, though? But that in a way is a quirky thing in itself when someone's really shit.
Yeah.
And obviously live streams are also a good kind of host for esports. Do we dive into that kind of world at all?
Not really. Watch a few CSGOs.
Like, yeah, CSGO is obviously one thing, League of Legends, MOBAs, Dota, kind of Rocket League as well is starting to become something like big money. Big money in there.
I know FIFA does it as well.
Yeah.
And that's some big money. Like, some guy got second place and won $100,000.
So it does show that
$250 for first place.
So it does show that gaming is becoming huge financially.
Oh yeah, like in China and stuff like that. Like I could say those League of Legends tournaments, like
they've always won by
like 500,000.
Yeah.
So it's just because the people pack it, the stadiums are out, and pump the money into it, and it's just like any other business. You get enough money in it.
Well, it's just
and they're going to get some money.
Arguably, there are so many games that are just as fun to watch people play as they are to play yourself. Like, as an example for me, like if you watch someone play Mario Kart, that's just as much fun as when you're playing it yourself. Maybe not to the same degree.
But it's still when someone gets blue shelled right at the last minute, you're still cracking the fuck up.
Like I can't be the only one that when they're watching like these videos and stuff are like screaming at it like, no, go that way, go that way. Do you know what I mean? Like you see something that the gamer doesn't, and do you know what I mean? And I just
think something like that. I'm like, oh, did you miss that? Like,
some games I think really work as a bystander, and some don't. FIFA is always one of them because that's such, without being sex, like a lad sport. Do you know what I mean? It's like when like you're playing FIFA with your mates, even if there's 4 of you and only 2 of you are playing, you're still heckling each other as they're playing. Like, how the fuck did you miss that and stuff? Even though it's not even you kicking the ball, it's just you pressing the button. You still heckle each other.
The events are becoming bigger and bigger each year. There loads of different varieties.
With Twitch and stuff like that, they've made it popular because now they can stream it live. More people can access the streams, which means they can put more sponsorship into it, charge them more because more people are watching it, and so the prices go up. And like I say, it's one of those.
Even becoming somewhat of like an internet celebrity. Some of the people that are involved with it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, any of them, like you see, any of the Markipliers, probably you consider a celebrity now. You probably can't go out of his house back and stuff.
And the most successful YouTuber probably of all time.
Don't say Puddy
God,
Pie.
He's
Don't say Puddy Pie.
I got to mention it.
He's an absolute bellend.
That whole 50 million sub thing was bullshit as well.
It was a complete troll, yes.
No, it was let's get small. I need that 50 mil, so I'm going to make up shit to get 50 mil. And then I don't understand why people just didn't unsubscribe after that.
Yeah, but now it's kind of like he's now relying on the controversy of his and YouTube's relationship.
Well, he's doing basic, like celebrity thing. He's doing a basic celebrity thing, cause controversy, people subscribe.
Yeah.
Because guess what? People are talking about when that happens to him. And that just caused more people to go to his videos, to watch it.
Which means, though, that he's not actually legitimately sort of funny. He's just playing the game.
I never really cared about the guy much before the Wall Street Journal thing. And then when the Wall Street Journal thing hit, I sort of started watching him, and he actually started to become a lot funnier. Because I watched some of his older videos as well.
The only time I watched him...
In comparison, he was actually much better now than he was
then. The only time I watched him was him playing Goat Simulator. That's it. Funny.
But that's just Goat Simulator.
Yeah,
Goat Simulator
he can be working with anyone, But when that's the only videos of him I ever watched. It was just ridiculously funny. That was it.
So what is it about PC gaming that attracted you so much to it?
Goat Simulator. Bus Simulator. All the simulators. all the simulators are amazing, mate.
I guess, well, one thing, the games are cheaper. It's way more cheaper than any other console. You wait for a deal and you just like... It's like
Steam sale every
You can buy like a 60-hour game for £2 and you're just like, alright. You got that, but you got also more games, exclusives. Like people creating their own games. You also got mods where people can add already to a good game. You can add their own mods. It can be graphical. It can be extra maps, content.
do you still play games that require the use of a controller still?
Yeah, I try and use a controller if I can.
Because that's the kind of thing that takes away from PC gaming, in my opinion. The fact that there's so many games out there that you just have to use the controller.
Yeah, but no one wants to game with their hands so far apart.
It's just one of the things you get used to. Some games you just couldn't do it with a controller. You just too many buttons to it, and the quickness of it.
And you were talking about deals. I remember, I think it was last summer, I picked up Witchers 1, 2 and 3 for 28 quid. Because Steam was just like, here's this.
Try and buy that on console.
It's just this deal.
Which is shit.
He does not mean that. You look at that.
But I say that's very controversial.
I don't like Witcher.
And all the people on the podcast hate it now. That's one.
I don't care.
That's like, you say you don't like Witcher, you say you don't like Skyrim. Like,
you don't like
several of the most
basically.
popular games.
I like what I like.
Fair enough.
Shit
Mario Kart. Proper shit Mario
I can play
Kart.
that 24/7.
Mario Kart shit as fuck. No, I play loads of games, I just don't like that.
At times.
I like good games.
Yeah. I think, like I say, you get with PC as well. You get obviously graphically a bit better as well.
You dickhead.
It is.
Depending on.
I forgot how good Counter-Strike is.
Depending on how.
Graphically, Counter-Strike
depending on the
is shy.
game.
Yeah, but no, I mean, like if you had a multi-platform game, it's always going to be better on PC.
Depending on how.
But mate, check it.
Alright then, Arkham Knight,
yeah,
that was shocking on PC.
Because it was
lagging.
Yeah, because it was on 30 frames per second.
Yeah.
That's still only bad on the PC though, which apparently has a better engine, which you've just said would have better graphics.
I don't know
and
the
stuff.
coding behind the game.
Depending,
I'm just saying that. So it's not always. I'm just saying. Yeah, but I'm just saying it's not always that a PC game is going to have better graphics.
I think it depends on the game and how good of a PC you've got.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah. You need the graphical power. Yeah, you need that power.
Because
I'm just saying,
no point.
But then surely that goes down to the same thing you were saying about VR then. So to properly utilise PC, you have to have a super expensive PC or a gaming PC, which can be expensive.
Oh yeah. You probably
that's what I'm saying.
It'll be a couple hundred more.
So realistically, you're saying games are cheaper, but to play the games, you need to spend more on a PC than you do on a console.
My PC that I built now, right, will still function for 10 years. Like it was still play any game for pretty much 10 years.
Yeah,
and still be fine.
PS2 lasted like 10 years.
Yeah, but graphics didn't go up.
Actually, graphics get better until the next gen comes out, because whenever a console comes out, the potential for the graphic can always be better until it can't, which is when they bring it. Because obviously there's no point in releasing it with. Do you know what I mean? They don't have
graphics.
So I'm just saying it's not always.
Oh no, don't get me wrong. You still have to pay a lot more when it comes to the PC, absolutely. But I think over time, with the games you buy and the money you will save from those games, you'd probably make your money back in that time.
Oh yeah, you probably would, but PC gaming is a completely different style of gaming to console gaming in many regards, not in every regard, but in many.
But like I said, I'm always a controller kind of person. I'm not too much of a keyboard and mouse guy. So if there's a game there, I would always play it with a controller.
And that's where we're going to leave it.
Bye.
Thank you for listening, and we will see you next time.